So, talking about large classrooms, I guess I actually don't teach a large classroom. I teach a lot of students, but I don't typically give lectures. I don't lecture in a single one of my classes. And this actually came from being a wildlife disease biologist in Indiana, and I was teaching a disease class at Purdue, and I was constantly getting called out to emergencies, and so I'm like, okay, well, how can I teach this class and still be able to be there and teach these kids something? And so I started looking around, looking at some of the research, trying to figure out what I could do. I tried distance classrooms a couple of times. Those flopped because the places I might go to that had crappy internet connection or something like that, and I stumbled upon the flipped classroom. And so I started using that model. Kids seemed to really like it. I really liked it. And so I've done that in pretty much every one of my classes, including biological concepts, which for us is a 70, 80 person class. And I guess because I came from being a biologist and not kind of coming up the traditional pathways, I didn't know this might not be a good idea for a 70 or 80 person classroom. I just know that's what I had been doing, and by golly, that's what I was going to do. So, this is a class, of course, with a mix of folks, people who don't want to be there, people who find it mildly interesting, and then people who have it as part of the requirements. But one of my goals in this class is to get these students to actually possibly use this in the future for making decisions or, actually, understanding something. So I wanted them to be able to know and learn some of this information. So, the first part of the flipped classroom, and this is actually from, I think, part of my ornithology class. I've had some of this cut down. But, they go on and they watch a 15-minute, no longer than 15-minute lecture. Because that's one of the bits of research I was finding is, they won't pay attention to much longer than that. And YouTube seems to work very well with 15 minutes. So I might have an hour's worth of lecture and they watch 4 15-minute clips. And so as they go through, they're watching this. There's a quiz, they have to read all the materials, and they have to do all this before they come into the classroom. So they actually know some of the biological, it's not this fast, I've kind of speeded it up just for time's sake, because it is a flash, whatever we're doing. And so, they're watching this, and they come into the classroom, and they've got an idea of what they're supposed to be doing. And so then in the classroom portion, of course, what we do here is do what would normally be their homework, okay? So what do we do in class? We might have traditional homework questions where they're working on them, maybe some great games and team competitions, speed-based assignments, these kinds of things that allow them to get together in small groups and figure out something. And there might be a question that applies to them. Sometimes I do research, and so I have them collect data about themselves. If they go out on the internet, I encourage them to bring their phones, their computers, their laptops, anything they want to bring into the classroom to try to use to answer these questions, okay? And so what does this look like? Let's bring up the next video. So, this is my classroom. I'm walking around, in this case I'm videotaping what's going on. But you can see, we've got small groups. They're using their phones and their data. They've got a sheet. Actually, most everything is submitted through Canvas, so I get to go on and assign the groups. I can go on to Canvas. I can grade it. Even if they want to handwrite it, they just take a photo of it or do the audio clip or whatever and submit that. Here's something where I've got them doing skits, I think, on, they're trying to describe a gene here. And so, they have to come up with maybe something creative in the classroom. But, these are the kinds of things they're doing. So I'm not really having to, spend a lot of time actually lecturing. Although one day a week, I will provide a lecture, but it's all based on questions that they had on the material. So they send me questions, and I'm just up there answering questions and using a lot of the techniques that we were talking about to keep them engaged, okay? And so this is how I just describe it. My classroom is just a bit chaotic. If you walked in and stuck your head in, people have been shocked. People who come and do my evaluations, they sometimes are, heads blowing off and they're spinning around and stuff. But it seems to work. They seem to like it. They seem to be getting information from it. What's the risk? Utter failure. Okay? I mean, yeah, it flops. I've had some of these exercises that I've gotten from somewhere, maybe I hadn't tried it out before, and holy crap, we get about halfway through it, and I just have to go, look, this is a mess, it's not working, I'll give you the points for the day, let's just bail out and go home, okay? And that happens, and I know next time, don't ever do that freaking assignment again, you know, I've got it crossed off the list, okay? But, you know, what's the reward? You know, this is what I want them doing. I actually want them thinking about the material they're learning, and I think having them working together in the classroom, using the material that I've already given them to in that informational lecture, then they can actually start making good decisions. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have, and luckily we were able to work through all the technological challenges there. So.